record or session, if you want to call it. As I was saying before, this is John Capello's Beyond Metaphysics meetup. This is our first online meetup. We're going to be doing a lot more of these because the in-person meetups are very difficult for people to come to. I live in the Dallas area, and in the Dallas area, the traffic is so bad that it's just prohibitive to find a location which people who are interested in these topics can come to. We were at a barbecue place for many years, and that particular place closed down after the pandemic, and so we're not able to go back and renew our association with that particular restaurant. So meetups were getting difficult to do at that place as well, because I constantly had to fight off people from trying to take my space, and then the meetups fell off as far as the attendance was concerned. And the biggest complaint was that there was just it was just too hard to get there. So it's like I say, I want to thank you for joining me today. What we're going to do is we're going to start our meetup by going to sharing our screen, and you may be able to see that, but we're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to go to the slideshow, and then from the beginning and now. So you should be able to see that. And so we're going to start our meetup this month. It's called Your Past Lives, 12th House Secrets Revealed. Now, if you don't know me, I am a psychic medium and an astrologer as well. I work a lot with auras. I do lots of different things. I'm a person that I have my own radio program on the A1R Psychic Radio Network. I call my show the Psychic Side, and it's on Tuesdays at 5 p.m. Eastern. And if you'd like to join us there, then you're welcome to do so. You can call in for readings. And if you want, you can also watch a recorded broadcast on Moonstruck TV right here on YouTube. So if you want to join us there, you're welcome to do so. But tonight we're going to be talking about the 12th house of the Zodiac. And if you're familiar with the astrology, that's great. But what we're going to do is I'm going to do a brief review of astrology at first, and then I'm going to talk about your natal chart. I'm going to talk specifically about the 12th house and the importance of the 12th house. And then I'm going to go discuss each of the 12th house cusps. Now, you can look a lot of this stuff up on YouTube or on Google. You can Google it if you want. There's a lot of information out there that you're just going to have to sift through to see if it resonates with you. I'm going to give you my own interpretations of what the 12th house is and how it relates to you. And then if you know your natal chart, this is going to be a very valuable exercise for you. If you don't know your natal chart and you want me to do it for you, I'll be happy to do it, but you can get a lot of that done for free on the internet these days. And if you want an interpretation, I'll be happy to do that. Just go to my website and sign up for a reading there, and we'll do a Zoom call. You know, if you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, then I can do an in-person reading for you. And if you do the Zoom meeting, it's actually easier to do the Zoom because I can show you your chart and we can share the screen and we can just go from there. So what I want to do is I want to do a brief review, and I want to talk a little bit about astrology. Astrology is about layering energy. I'm not going to get into all the different layers of things that you need to add when you're doing astrology tonight, because we're going to be talking specifically about the 12th house. And the 12th house is a very unique house, but what we need to understand is that interpreting the interactions of the energy of each sign, planet, and aspect, that's what astrology is about. Now, you can spend hours and hours and hours talking about a particular natal chart if you want, because there's just so much information there that not everybody can get it all. And you wind up going and using your psychic abilities to interpret it, because it's just so voluminous. And so you have to kind of pick your battles when you're talking about a natal chart. And so we're just going to talk a little bit, a very, very small portion of it tonight. But I did want to just remind you that there are 3 power points in your chart. And the first one is the sun. The second one is the moon. And the third one is the rising sign. Now, I'm specifically working with Western astrology, not so much Eastern. I know a little bit about Eastern enough to get in trouble, but I don't profess to be very proficient in Eastern astrology. It's also very voluminous, and a lot of people know both systems. But for me, I just prefer the Western. It just works fine for me. So the houses of the zodiac are stable, but are influenced by your birth time. So as you can see on the picture on the right of your screen, just under my face here, you see the different astrological signs. You see the different glyphs of each sign, and then you see each of these areas that are marked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And you can see that they go in a counterclockwise motion. So a counterclockwise motion is how you read a chart. And a lot of people, when they look at an astrological chart, they go, what in the heck is that? And that's understandable, because it's got so many different squiggly lines and things like that. But as you get familiar with it, it just kind of opens up and reveals so many things for you. And so it's if you are an Aries and you're born at the time when Aries is rising on your birthday, then that's your first house. Okay. And the thing is about the rising sign, we're going to be focusing on the rising sign today. We're talking a little bit more about that than the other parts of the other 2 PowerPoints, the sun and the moon. We're going to be talking about the rising sign, which is the time of day that you're born. It's important because it sets the tone for your natal chart, and it sets the tone for the lessons that you're going to be learning during your life. And it's pretty powerful. So the more you know about the exact time that you're born, the more information that you're going to get or have at your disposal when doing your chart. To me, it only makes sense for somebody to know their chart, because it helps you plan your life. And now astrology, unfortunately, can always come off as a little bit negative. But if you use the energy properly, you can be successful. Now, we're all successful to some degree. Okay, some people are off the charts successful as far as being famous or wealthy or whatever. Some people are famous but unhappy, or wealthy but unhappy. Some people are poor as church mice and are as happy as larks. And some people just know how to use certain energies to make the most out of life. And while others may be successful in one area, they're sorely deficient in others. So we're going to be mainly talking about this number 5 area here, the rising sign that sets the tone for the entire life of the native by placing the energy of each sign in the natural houses of the natal chart. You see, these are the natural houses that we have depicted in this first picture here. And each of those natural houses has what they call a natural or native ruler. Okay, so the thing is, when you are born, we'll get to this in just a minute. Let's look at the next slide here. For instance, let's say that you're born when the rising sign is Taurus. Well, Taurus would be your first house, you see. And so it's like a dial. Each time the rising sign changes, it always moves to this part, the 9 o'clock area of someone's natal chart, this chart wheel here. Okay. So if you're Taurus, born under the rising sign of Taurus, it moves up. If you're a Libra, this glyph or Libra rises goes all the way to the first house here. So when that happens, then you have to look and see where the 12th house would be. You see, so if for instance with Aries, the 12th house is naturally a Pisces, which is the normal. If your first house is Taurus, then your 12th house is Aquarius. If you are let's see, I gotta make sure I'm doing that right. No, that's wrong. If your first house is Taurus, your 12th house is Aries. If your first house is Gemini, then your 12th house is Taurus. See, it can be so confusing, even to me. I've been doing it over 50 years. I still can make a mistake. But the fourth house, which you see normally in the native chart there, Cancer, if it is on your first house cusp, then your 12th house cusp is Gemini. If your first house is Leo, your 12th house is Cancer. If your first house is Virgo, then your 12th house is Leo, and so on and so forth. So, like I said, if your first house is Libra, then your 12th house is Virgo, you see. So if you're watching this video and you know your first house, then you also know your 12th house because it's just the sign prior to your native first house. Okay, so to your natal chart. So let's look at the houses for just a moment. The first house is naturally Aries. It is ruled by Mars, planet Mars. Some key words for Aries is I am, but Aries deals with your will, your just drive of life. It deals with the personal body, the physical body. It also deals with innocence, naivete. You see, Taurus is ruled by Venus. It's marked by terms like I want. It's about personal possessions. It's how you value things. It's about your personal space. It's a very important sign because it shows a lot about your soul, your characters, your who you are. That's what Taurus is about. Then Gemini is ruled by Mercury. It's a sign that is very, very adaptable. It's about communicating. It's about siblings. It's about early childhood life. It's about short stories. It's about those sorts of things. Okay, and then on the fourth house is normally Cancer. It's ruled by the moon. This is a very, very important sign. It is usually considered the bottom of the zodiac or the lowest point of the zodiac, and that's where the Innu Quelli is, and it is where home and family is. It's about mother. It's about patriotism. It's about maybe being even a refugee, things like that. Those are things that really affect your security. The next house is kind of the opposite, a reaction to it. The next house is Leo. It's ruled by the sun. It's about creativity. It's about children. It's about relationships. It's about insurance. You know, you might say, oh gosh, what's that? Why is that in there? But insurance is all about risk, and it's about gambling and taking chances, you see. The sixth house is normally Virgo. It's also ruled by Mercury, just like Gemini, but it's a different focus of Mercury. It's the focus of being the analyst. It's the focus of being a detail person, someone that looks at minutia, and someone like, I need to know. It's about service. It's about pets. It's about daily routine, diet. It's about frugality, those sorts of things, maybe even sexual dysfunction, sometimes people say. So that's the sixth house. The seventh house is Libra. It's ruled by Venus. Venus does double duty like Mercury. Excuse me. Venus is rules Libra as it does Taurus, but it's another focus of Venus because with Venus and Taurus, it's about value, it's about jewelry, it's about small little things, it's about a perimeter, it's about the bull watching his territory, those sorts of things. Whereas in Libra, it's about beauty, it's about elegance, it's about being social, it's about being civil, those sorts of things. It's about the other, it's about your spouse, it's about legalities, legal agreements, partnerships, and those sorts of things. Scorpio is ruled by Pluto. It's a tough sign. It's about taking, it's about dominance, it's about possibly abuse. Those are kind of the negatives, if you want to call it, about Scorpio. Scorpio is a very passionate sign. It's a sign of great depth. It's a sign of humility. Also a sign about the soul, about great character. Scorpio gets a lot of, I guess I would say, negative press, but the depth of people who are Scorpios is very, very important. They're often called extremists because they adhere to a belief system so strongly. Sometimes it's to their own detriment, but it's something that they are known for. And if you look at a Scorpio, you'll see how deep they are just by looking in their eyes. The next sign, though, is considered in some ways the best sign of the zodiac because it's Sagittarius. It's ruled by Jupiter, the planet of spirituality, the planet of hope, beliefs. Sometimes Sagittarius is called the sign of the priest because it's a bachelor, the sign of the bachelor. It's about faith. It's about foreigners or living in a foreign land. It's about higher education, those philosophy, those sorts of things. It's about luck. So it's a great sign. And whenever you have a transit going through the ninth house, it's usually even the most malefic planets seem to not be as problematic when they're in the ninth house or your ninth house of the zodiac. Capricorn is considered the strongest sign of the zodiac. It's ruled by Saturn. It's all about image. It's about structure. A lot of people that have a strong 10th house if they have Saturn in it, they can often be famous, or there are people that are focal points, you see. So these are people, this is the area where you have your ambition, and that's where you, the way your 10th house cusp is, it shows how you try to succeed. Aquarius, on the other hand, it's ruled by Uranus. It's about thinking. Uranus is the sign of the genius or the insane. I'm laughing because I'm an Aquarian. But they're eccentrics. They're very unpredictable. They're people that can be one way one moment and change the very next. But they're usually very loyal people that are very friendly, people that have lots and lots of friends, but maybe not a lot of close friends. They're detached. They are people that can that face a lot of estrangement in their lives. They may belong to several different groups at times, and then find themselves maybe being ostracized by them at other times. And then the last house, the 12th house, our subject tonight. That's Pisces. It's ruled by Neptune. A couple of words that might describe it are, I imagine. Pisces is another sign that kind of gets a bad rap because there's a lot of addictive energy there, mental illness, incarceration, racism, karma, lots of things go on there, past lives. And that's kind of why we're talking about it tonight. We're talking about it because we're at this recording, we're at the end of the year. and talking about past lives and talking about reflection. This is a good time to do that, even though we're not in the period of time of Pisces, which starts on February 19th and goes all the way almost to the end of March. This is a sign that that is a lot misunderstood. But the thing about Pisces is that the positives about Pisces is that it is the sign of imagination. It is the sign of thinking out of the box. And for me, inspiration comes from imagination is very inspirational. You know, you would say that the Piscean is the one that dreams something, and then the Aquarian looks at it and says, I think I can make that work. And then you get the Virgos and you get everybody else in there, and they build it, you know. but in a way, things kind of start and end with Pisces. Some people say that Neptune is called the great dissolver. So wherever Neptune is, it kind of dissolves or kind of causes that area of your chart to kind of disintegrate. But that's only if you let it, you know. It's about idealism, and idealism is a good thing, you know. So we want to be idealistic, but we don't want to be so idealistic that it takes away all of our practical ability. So that's briefly what the houses are. Hopefully you can follow along or listen to this section one other time and look at each of the houses as we go along. But you can see here, I put in red the 12th house because that's going to be our focus here in just a moment. I just thought you need a little bit of a brief overview or review of what's going on here, or at least my take on things. So it's important when you do your natal chart to know your birthday. You know, it's amazing. Some people don't know it. The time you're born, as close as you can get, because every 2 minutes, they say the universe changes 1 degree. And we need to know the place, because that was what kind of locks in the planets to the specific degree in your chart, you see. And we want to know that, because the more accurate information we have, the more accurate you can be when trying to get your information correctly interpreted. So information places you in a specific zodiac sign and places your rising sign and other aspects into your natal chart. The natal chart is a roadmap for the tools you are given to face events and challenges in your life. It's amazingly accurate. It's just it's something that if you learn it yourself or get someone you trust as an astrologer, then they may have a specific thing that they look at, but it can be very, very revealing, very, very helpful to you as you navigate through things in life. But you have to also understand that it's up to you. It's your decisions in life. You can't let the planets control you. We can't let those things stop you or prevent you from doing something in life. It's just that challenges are there for you to learn from, but we don't want to put ourselves in harm's way or anything like that. We just want to be able to put ourselves in a position to where we can be successful. And if you look at the chart, you can see where it can help you be successful. So now we are looking once again at your natal chart. So if, for instance, your first house is Gemini, then you appear to be a communicator. You appear to be someone who's very adaptable. You appear to be somebody that has range or multitasker even. So, but what we do want to do is we're going to look down here at Neptune once again in the 12th house. I imagine addictions are karma, because our 12th house indicates the kind of karma that we're carrying. You see, the karma, the past lives that we have. So now we're going to begin talking specifically about the 12th house. Now remember, from what we said in the very beginning, we talked a little bit about layering. We talked about how layering energy on top of the palette and on top of the basic energy. So the basic energy of the 12th house is Neptune energy, is energy involving illusion or delusion, and it involves imagination, and sometimes it's about escapism, and that's why the addiction is a part of that 12th house, because whether people are alcoholics or drug addicts or addicted to a person or something else, they've set a standard that really can't be achieved. And so one drink leads to another, one drug or one dose of a drug leads to another, because they constantly want more out of it, more out of it. If they're addicted to a person, then they want more from that person. And it gets to a point to where the other person can't meet the demands of the person who's addicted to them, you know, or some of your body can't meet the demands of that excess alcohol is presenting to it, or drugs or whatever. And then there's a crisis, you see. So we need to know that. But what happens is that we carry things over, and if you don't believe in past lives, it's fine. But it's still valuable to look at these things, because if you look at it from my perspective, the lessons of a past life that need resolution for our soul to move further along its path to perfection. That's what we say. So each incarnation that we live, we are on a path to perfection, and we hope to overcome the obstacles of one life so that we don't have to face them again. We don't want to face them again if we don't have to. So that's our goal, at least. So what we want to do is we want to look at, for instance, like I said, if you have Taurus as your first house, then your 12th house is Aries. So what may happen is that in a past life, you lack the will to maybe continue, or you were innocent. You may have been a victim. You may have been a victim when you were a child. And so you may have had a difficult past life childhood and never got over it. Maybe didn't survive it. Maybe died as a child, or died because you willed yourself to death. Or there may have been something that happened to your physical body, something that's Aries related. And you may find that these things carry over with you. Like, for instance, you might feel like, why can't I get motivated to do something? Or why am I feeling so easily hurt? These are things that might be signs that may be carried over in the event that you had an Aries 12th house cusp. Now, and it's like I say, I feel like these are my interpretations. You can look and see what other astrologers say about Aries on the 12th house cusp and get their take on things. Sometimes, Mars is also the sign of the warrior. You might have died as a soldier, and you might have suffered. There might be some suffering there. So there's lots of things that you may have to deal with, or may have phantom memories about. And that's one of the things that comes up with the 12th house. Now, with Taurus being the 12th house cusp, it's ruled by Venus. It's the words would be I want, and they're not. Sorry, it's not lined up like I want it to be. But you could have either been impoverished in a past life, a pauper, and need to try to work on that, or try to work on your self-value. Or you could have been rich and could have been decadent. You could have been a person that excuse me, was a person that had their wealth and flaunted it. And in this life, you might have to deal with, you may still have money, but you may have to learn to be more philanthropic. something like that. So Gemini, you might have had trouble communicating in a past life or trouble with siblings. It's ruled by Mercury. And if you had trouble communicating or getting your message across, that may be something that you fear you can't do. You may fear public speaking. There may be some things like that that harken back to a previous time and say to yourself, I don't know why I feel that way. I just don't know why. But this might be one of those reasons why. So it's just something that you should be aware of, and something that you can think about, dwell on, or maybe get a past life reading from someone, or even a regression. That might be helpful. The next one is Cancer, the moon, the nurturer. You may have had trouble with mother. You might have had trouble with women. Might have had trouble at home, or you might have been a refugee in the past. You might have been a mother and had problems with nurturing your family. Lots of different things, but it would be cancer related. Might have even had a food addiction or a food problem, food illness. And these are all things that are all cancer related, and things that you need to look into, especially if you have those phantom memories, you see. So the next one is Leo. It's ruled by the sun. I create risk relationships, and this is what you would look for. Maybe you always have a hard time with personal relationships that are not marriage, that are not legally binding. Might have had trouble with your children if you're an adult, and there may be some past life situations there, or might have had trouble with other kids if you were growing up and had trouble with them. Might have insurance issues a lot, or you might have been a gambler and lost a lot in previous incarnation, and these are things that would be areas to look into. So I don't want to just say the 12th house is always about loss, but it's about secrets. It's about hidden things, and these are things that are maybe hidden in your life. The next sign we're going to talk about is Virgo, ruled by Mercury. The keywords I need: analysis, detail. You may hate detail. You may hate minutia in this life, and it might be because there was an overabundance of being an analyst or being a detail person in a previous life. You may not like pets, you see. You may not want any pets, or maybe dog averse or cat averse to small animals. And it could have a past life meaning to it in some way or another. So it's just something to look for. You might look to see if you have some type of unusual situation where you say to yourself, I wonder why I feel that way about something. And then look at your 12th house and go, maybe that's it. So next one is Libra, Venus. You may always never feel like you are the belle of the ball, or you're not pretty enough, or you don't have enough social graces, or you may always feel like there's problems in social settings, or always problems with legal agreements, especially partnerships. I wouldn't get into too many partnerships if I had Libra on my 12th house cusp. It doesn't mean a marriage can't work or anything. It just means you're going to have to negotiate with it a little bit more. You got to talk it out more, be more detailed with the agreement. And of course, it takes two to tango. It takes two people to kind of make things work. And but it can work. It just might be that you might meet a partner that things didn't go well in a previous life, and you may have to finish up that relationship. A lot of times you hear of karma or kismet relationships. It always has to do with something going on in the 12th house. So it's something that you might want to look into. The next one is Scorpio. Scorpio is ruled by Pluto, which is a tough planet to deal with. Maybe the most malefic of all. It's about transformation. It's about rags to riches or riches to rags. It's about dominance. The two words would be I take. Pluto and Scorpio can be where there's the most abuse, violence, sexual abuse. But as I was saying earlier, Scorpio can be misunderstood because it's also a sign of people with great, great character, people with great passion, people that would put others way before themselves. These are the people that would run point against a machine gun if they felt like giving up their life was worth it to save others. I mean, so I don't want to make Scorpio look bad because Scorpio is a sign that's very, very strong. We need the strength of Scorpio because we need that depth of character. We need that strong belief in themselves and that strong will that they present to a situation. So, but if you have Scorpio on that 12th house cusp, you may have some leftover issues involving some violence or rape or something that had been done to you, and something that you need to be aware of and maybe do some journaling about if you have phantom memories in those particular areas. The next one is Sagittarius. We said that's usually the best sign, if there is a best sign, because Jupiter's there. And Jupiter is always that planet of expansion and spirituality. It's the key words would be I believe. It's the sign of the priest, the sign also of the zealot, and it involves faith, foreigners, higher education. You may have died in a foreign land, or you may have died at the hands of a zealot, or you may have been a zealot or a priest. And in this particular life, you may need to balance that because you lived such an eccentric life, being someone that was married to a religion or someone that was just hyper religious, okay, or could have been hyper religious. So the next one is Capricorn, ruled by Saturn. I control, structure, image. You might have a problem with authority, because you may have been the authority, and you may have been someone that you misused their authority. And if Saturn is there, it often is a sign that you might have been a racist, or you might have had some racial problems in a past life. But it also can mean that you're trying to work on your mental health, and you're trying to get some structure. You're trying to understand yourself, and you're trying to get the help that you need. So you might look at and see what your 12th house cusp is. If it's Capricorn, then look at those things that are all Capricorn and see if you have any past life information that you can decide is part of that. If it is, then work on it. Work on those issues and try to get those taken care of. The next one is Aquarius, Uranus. I think eccentricities, unpredictability. You may at one time have been a genius. You may have been an inventor. You may have been someone who might have been a revolutionary. You never know. So if you were a revolutionary, if you were someone that could have been a rebel, then this is the sign for you. And I would say also Sagittarius could be a rebel because it's they're the zealot. But the Aquarians are the ones that start revolutions. They're the ones that say, why don't we do it this way? And then you got the Aries and Leos, and you got the Sagittarians. They go out there and fight the battles, but the Aquarians come back and say, did I say that? But I think Karl Marx might have been American. I don't know. I got to look. But well, you also see people like Abraham Lincoln, Franklin Roosevelt, Ronald Reagan, all people who were very idealistic and kind of people that tried to make lives better for the people that they were in charge of at the time. So Aquarius on the 12th house cusp has some unique things that you may want to think about, read about Aquarius, look and see how it may affect you, especially if your first house is Pisces. Okay, so now Pisces on your 12th house cusp, that just is, it could enhance you wanting to be a little bit of an escapist, a little bit of a person that needs a reality check every once in a while, somebody that that needs others to ground them. You might have addiction issues, whether it's alcohol or drugs. You might scenario build. Excuse me. Let's, like I say, you might need some people to kind of say, get you back to center. Okay. So it's just a matter of self-discovery, which is the whole reason why I'm in metaphysics, is because I learned so much about myself, and I teach people these things and talk to them about them. They, aha, maybe that is it. So it's just interesting to go through the 12th house cusp, because they are so revealing. It helps us look into ourselves and do some self-analysis, and have us look at things that we need to work on, lessons that seem to keep coming up, and we just scratch our heads and say, I thought I had resolved that, and you just didn't. So it's interesting. It's something that you need to look at, but it all depends on your natal chart, getting the right time, right place down, so that you can make this work correctly. Okay, so that's what I hope that you will do, and that's where we're going to start to wrap up our meetup tonight. So if you want to comment on our show or this particular video, please do. Be sure to like our content and subscribe to our channel. If you want to join Beyond Metaphysics, it doesn't matter where you are, as long as you can get on the MeetUp app. Go to meetup.com and join Beyond Metaphysics, and you will see that we have monthly meetings. We may have more often, but we're going to put all of these things on YouTube, and we're going to do our best to give you the best content that we can. So with that, I want to thank all of you for joining me, whether it's live or if you're watching this some other time. But thanks once again. Take care. See me on Moonstruck TV on Tuesdays at 5 p.m. or on the A1R Psychic Radio Network, the psychic side. I'm John Capello. Take care. Thank you. Bye-bye. We're going to stop our share right now, and we'll go back to normal. We're going to end our recording, and we will talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.